My name is Ronni, and I'm here to share with you today a little bit about the Human Library. I don't know how many of you heard of us before. We've been around for a while because 17 years ago, me and my colleagues from Stop the Violence in Denmark decided we were going to try and create a safe space where we could challenge stigma and stereotypes through dialogue. A place where you could walk in, borrow a human being, and talk to them about a very challenging topic. Ideally, we wanted people to talk about issues that they normally would not talk about or potentially don't like to talk about, but that we need to talk about. I came here today to share with you our idea. The idea that we could sit together and talk openly about taboos and stigma. That we could be courageous, meet someone, a complete stranger, and share a moment with them. That's what we're trying to do. Now, we try to publish people, you could say, as open books. They volunteer, they come to us, they say, I have experience with being a refugee. I have experience being transgender. I have experience being Jewish, Muslim, bipolar, pansexual, living with an eating disorder. All of these are issues that could be difficult and challenging to talk about in many societies. And so we put them on a bookshelf and host an event similar to the TED where we get to inspire and learn from each other. And it's a safe space to ask questions. The Human Library really is a place where personal stories and experiences come together and where you become a reader, just like a real library. You go, you take the book you want, and basically we have a lot of great books. We call them bestsellers. But on our bookshelf, we carry people from all kinds of backgrounds. Social stigma, ethnicity, religion, gender, sexuality, lifestyle. And I wanted to show you this, one of our bestsellers, The Body Modified. This is a lifestyle topic where our bestseller here volunteered to answer any question you want to know about why he decided to look this way. And maybe if you saw him on the street, you wouldn't feel comfortable or secure walking over there and saying, hey, guy, that's some pretty funky horn you got there. But in the Human Library, it's okay. In fact, we have very simple rules. Bring the book back on time, similar to the real library. Don't take pages and tear them out. Don't write notes in the book. And don't take it home. We need it to give it to other readers. And basically treat the people you borrow with the same respect that you want to be treated. And then you have a unique opportunity to gain insight into someone who volunteered to share what they know. We don't have all the answers, but we built a little safe space where you can go and find some of the answers, if you have the courage. Now, what defines the people we publish? Basically, we try to put up people that are facing stereotypes, stigma, discrimination. Some are exposed to hate crimes. Others are persecuted by the authorities. In St. Petersburg recently, we were supposed to have a human library at the Lenin Library, which is a state library in St. Petersburg, Russia. But the authorities looked at the list of topics we wanted to publish, amongst them the homosexual, and the authorities said, we cannot allow you to publish a homosexual in a state library. And so we had to move the event because obviously we cannot have anyone censoring our bookshelf. What we're really trying to build is a place where all the talks that we were too afraid to do could happen in a safe environment. So when we publish our books, We go to high schools, we go to libraries, we go to universities, colleges, festivals. We're even a part of, I don't know how many of you know Heineken, the beer, but we're working pretty closely with Heineken. One of their slogans is open your world. And if you go to the Human Library, you could basically open your world. You could meet someone you otherwise would never get a chance to meet and have a talk and gain insight. We also work with institutions like the IMF, and we work with labor unions, housing associations, but primarily we focus on civil society, on building opportunities for you, children, elder, everyone, to come and meet the people they hear about, the people they read about, the people they think they know something about, but they never met them. I mean, how many met a transsexual? How many are friends with a Roma? One of our best sellers in Denmark is the Roma. Maybe I have a picture I can show. He's one of our best books. And a lot of readers come to him and ask him, you know, but you don't live in a trailer? You're not criminal? You're not... No, he's got a job. He's educated. He has a family. His children is in school. But the only Roma that the Danish people hear about are the Roma in the newspaper that are getting negative exposure. They don't have access to regular people. So does it make sense, or uncommon sense, that we need to build a space where people can talk? Why can't you go over to the fat guy in the supermarket and say, hey dude, how'd you get so fat? Why? Because it's not in our norms. We're polite, well, some of us, I'm not, but most, because I might go over to the guy and say, hey, I'd like to publish you. And then he's like, what? I actually recruit books off the street if I need to. I take books from everywhere. Books, there's a great book hidden in most of us, and a lot of you probably would be a bestseller. You'd find a good topic for you. And this concept really brings out winners on all sides. Why and how? Readers sitting down face to face with a person they would otherwise never meet and have access to and ask freely and not be judged. Books who are not only meeting readers and gaining insight into what people are thinking about people like me, but also books being with other books. You see, the most beautiful part that I've come to learn about the Human Library is inside the book depot. You see, in the book depot, all of the bestsellers are waiting for you, the readers, to come and take them. And while they wait, guess what they're doing? They're reading each other. So we got Jews, Muslims, disabled, bipolar, homeless, anonymous alcoholic, sober alcoholic, eating disorder, refugees, unemployed, transgender, asexuals, vegans, all coming together in a diversity like I've never seen. So the beautiful part, the meeting between the reader and the book, and where we're actually touching and meeting each other, is great, but behind the scenes, these people become friends. Here's a trans, a body modified, and a pansexual who are now colleagues, bound together in their volunteer work to build social change in the society. It's a beautiful mission. Why do books volunteer? Why would someone facially disfigured or one of our victims of incest, why does Camilla volunteer to talk about being a victim of incest? Well, let me give you an example of what happens inside. Because we work really hard to build a space where readers feel safe asking personal questions. So a reading will typically last half an hour and will start with 5 minutes where the book is going to say, hi, my name is Ronni. I am your bereaved title today. I lost my wife 4.5 years ago. I volunteered to answer questions because I've learned that talking about death and bereavement and sorrow is a big taboo, and I'm prepared to talk to you about it if you want. I'll open up like that, making you feel safe, making you understand I volunteered, I'm here to answer questions. If you ask me something I don't want to answer, or maybe I don't like talking about it because it's too personal, I will say to you that that page hasn't been published yet. I'm very sorry. And so will all of our books, because we trained them to be books. We prepared them to be books. We vetted their content. We built their covers. We put their chapters together to protect them and to ensure everybody had a good experience. Now, Camilla is our victim of incest, and a couple months ago, well, it's more than that. It was August last year, to be honest. We had an event in Denmark in a public library. A man comes in, and when we're in a public library, we have a desk, just like the real library. And at that desk, we have librarians. And those librarians have a list of catalog, a list of all the topics we have on our bookshelf today available to you. And then they'll go through the list with you. You're going to see something, wow, oh wait, that's what I want to know about. Give me the deafblind. Camilla got picked up by a reader, and she came to me after the reading and she said to me what happened. She told me this. The man starts, after she opened the session, explaining her name is Camilla, she's a victim of incest, and briefly what happened and why she volunteered to be a book. The man said to her, well, I came here today to borrow you because I am a pedophile. I abused my 5-year-old child. I've been to jail 4 years, and now I'm in medical treatment, and everybody hates me, he says. And if I don't take my medicine, I might do something stupid again. But I came here today because I want to ask your advice. What can I do to help my child? Do you have any ideas for me? What can I do to reduce the harm I cause to my child? Now, we thought this space was a space to challenge what you think you know about other people. Oh, I think Muslims, I think gay, I think unemployed people don't want to work, whatever. But what people really use the space for, who are we to judge? We just build the space. We had another session with a woman in my neighborhood in Copenhagen coming into the central library to take out our Muslim book. She lived in the Muslim neighborhood, that's where I live, although I'm not Muslim, but I grew up in this neighborhood and the demographics changed, and now there's a lot of people from different Muslim countries. And it's a very nice place where I live, and many nice people there. This woman lives in a social housing project close to where I live, and she came all the way to the Human Library downtown to borrow a Muslim book. And after 30 minutes, she said to him, it was very nice meeting you, but I don't believe you're really a Muslim. And he goes, what? And she goes, yeah, you don't live up to any of my stereotypes. And he says, well, I'm happy for that. That's the whole idea. But the idea is actually that you take from the Human Library what you want. You take the conversation in the direction you want, and you're going to get out of it what you put into it. We do not have an agenda. We're a neutral library, and a library is one of the few neutral institutions in society. Our only agenda is to put the information forward. And we've been doing that for 17 years now. It started as a project for the festival. I was lucky to write a little handbook about it. It spread around Europe. Now we're in 84 countries around the world. Yesterday, while I was sitting in the hotel here in Bucharest, nervous about this morning, we opened in Amman, Jordan. And the readers at the King's Academy in Amman took advantage. And it was beautiful. And this weekend, we'll be open in Cape Town, South Africa, for the first time. Events are happening sort of viral. We try to quality ensure them. We work with partners. We have a human library network in Italy. We got a whole country in Poland full of partners, 40 or 50 different human library local partners organizing the human library. We're working with school districts, library systems, library associations, anybody who wants to implement this methodology to try and build a greater understanding for our diversity and more tolerance. What we're really offering is real people, and it's a real conversation. And there are no two conversations that will be the same. We also offer group readings, because when we go to a workplace, there's no time for a one-on-one, so typically staff will be at tables with 4 or 6 readers at each table sharing a book. And then after half an hour, that book will get up, go to the next table, and meet another group of readers. Each session will include 3 readings, and this is also a way to do diversity and inclusion work in the workplace, to help build a greater understanding for the diversity we have. Now, all of our books volunteer because they have personal experience, they have faced discrimination, stigma, stereotypes on their own body, and they're ready to share. They're ready to help pave the way for a greater understanding for the rest of the group that's behind them. So in a way, we recruit people and make them sort of ambassadors for a group. We try to find great examples, good role models, but normal people, regular people who live a regular life and who can show that we have a lot more in common than what's keeping us apart. At the moment, we live in highly polarized times. Politicians are profiting from pitting us against each other. Politicians are, instead of building bridges between people, they're actually widening the gap. It's all over the world. It's not a especially American problem, although it's significant there. It's a problem everywhere. Because when people are afraid, you can get them to vote. I fear something. And filling your heart with anger and fear, it's much easier than trust and love. Why should I trust him? He looks so different. How can I love this person? How can I trust that I won't be disappointed or let down? Those are much more difficult emotions to handle than anger and hate. I'm angry with the traffic this morning. I'm angry with the hotel breakfast. I'm angry with the... You can get angry easily. But it's very difficult to find trust and open to people. So we actually say, come on down. Try this. In Copenhagen, we have a book depot with over 70 publications, and we publish them 25 to 30 times a year. In Chicago, we have 65. We publish them 8 to 12 times a year. In Wrocław, in Poland, we have about 10 events in the city a year on their book collection. And today, if everything goes well, and you guys feel inspired after this time, in the lunch break, we hope to invite you to become readers of the Human Library. Thank you very much for joining us today.